Back. This is Mr. Weinkoff speaking with Embrace Tutoring Educational Services at www.embracetutoring.com. And for this particular video, we're going to get ready to go over the SAT Math Practice Test 8, questions 1 through 10, Math Section 3. And this video will be fast. I suggest that you watch the other video in terms of the in-depth explanations that we provide. So in question 1, it says, in the equation above, what is the value of x? I see here I have an expression. Well, I see I have x's on both sides that are similar, so I'm going to get rid of those. On this side, it looks as though I have 4x, and here I have minus 5 equals 7. If I did have 4x minus 5 equals 7, I would just add 5 to both sides. I would then get 4x equals 12. I would then solve, and I would get x equals 3. So D would be my best possible answer. Question 2, I see a graph here, I see distance, I see an x, I see a y, y is my d, m is my x. It says, quickly scanning, which of the following equations correctly relates d and m? They're really referring to my slope, and I'm going to try and figure out the entire slope or the entire line here. And I see, without kind of doing the y2 minus y1 or anything, I'm going to go over 1 and I'm going to go up 2. I'm going to pick a point that's solid kind of on the graph that's easy to illustrate. I know that this is my rise over my run for 2 over 1. I'm actually even still writing too much that I normally would do. And I also see here that it's passing through the origin, which means that my b is actually going to be equal to 0. And A is going to be my best possible answer. For question 3, I see the formula here provided. So I see a formula here. It says, which of the following correctly gives P in terms of E, O, and M? Well, I know that I would have to cross multiply. I would then get 6E. And it looks like 6E, positive 6E, A is my best possible answer. I would choose A. You could kind of continue and work on the expression, but it's not really necessary. So question 4, here I have a large figure. It says in the figure above, RT equals TU. So here's my RT, my side RT equals TU. R and U therefore are going to be equivalent due to the isosceles. This entire triangle is going to be 180. It says what is the value of x altogether? So here I have 180 minus 114. This is going to give me my 66 degrees. Well, if this is x and this is, let's just say, I'm labeling this as x now, but I'm really trying to find that x later. Well, I know that here I have 2x equals 66. I know each of these sides is then 33. So this is 33 and r is 33. Well, why do I care about that? Well, here I have s, here I have u, here I have v. Well, s plus u is going to give me 64. And so that together, so here I have 180 minus 64. This will give me my 116. Well, if angle V is 116, and if I know that all of this being on a line is going to be 180, well, then I know that angle X is just going to be 64, right? Just because I just did that. 180 minus 31 plus 33, which is 31 plus 33 is 64, right? 180 minus that. C is giving me the best possible answer for x. It says for question number 5, the width of a rectangular dance floor is W feet. The length is 6 feet plus, so this is going to be W plus 6. I know that which of the following expresses the perimeter in feet of those things. So my perimeter is going to be 2 times my width plus 2 times my length. This is my length. My width is just W. So I have 2W plus this is going to be 2 times W plus 6. I would distribute this. I would then get my 2W plus 12. Well, I can see here that B is giving me the best possible answer because 12 is here, and these like terms combined are going to give me 4W. So B is the answer to number 5. For question number 6, which of the following consists of the y-coordinates of all the points that satisfy the system of equalities above? I see I have a number of inequalities here, all referring to y. Well, here's my y, but they both do not contain y. They both contain 2x. So I would attempt to compare this equation here to the 2x1. I would get the 2x minus 1 is greater than 5 minus 1. I'm doing this to both sides to make them equivalent for the expression. And if I have 2x minus 1 greater than 5 minus 1, this becomes 2x minus 1 is greater than 4. Well, this relationship here, if I just brought that down, then that would become y is greater than 2x minus 1, right? This is from the first expression, and then this is what I surmised from the second expression. So B is going to be my best answer for number 6, being y is greater than 4 overall if I were just to eliminate this 2x minus 1. And 7, what is the solution set of the equation above? And I see here I have 2x plus 6 plus 4 equals x plus 3. Well, I can solve this in various ways, but I'm going to plug in my answer choices very quickly to kind of do a process of elimination. I'm going to try 5 and I'm going to try -1. I will attempt to do -1 first, or 5 first, doesn't really make a difference. So 2 times 5 plus 6 all over the radical plus 4 equals my 5 plus 3. So I want this to be 8 on the right side of the equation. Here I have 2 times 5 plus 6 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. Plus 4 equals 8. So that does work. If I attempted to do this again, 2 times -1 plus 6 all over the radical. Well, here, 2 times -1 is -2. Plus 6 is going to be the square root of 4. So that would give me 2 plus 4, which then if I plug this in here to be, let's say, equals my, what was it, -1 plus 3. Well, this equals 2. Does not work. So 5 does work, -1 doesn't work, -1, -1, -1. B is my best possible answer for 7. Okay, question 8 says, which of the following expressions is equivalent to f of x over g of x if x is greater than 3? I'm going to choose x equals 4. I'm choosing numbers in this expression here because I have variables here. I have variables here. It says which of the following is equivalent to, and I have variables within my answer choices. So I'm going to choose 4. I need to solve for both f of x and g of x to plug into my expression. So I'm going to have, and I'm going to attempt to do this in my head, 4 cubed, or to the third power, is going to be 64 minus 9 times 4, which is going to be 36, equals 28. So 28 should be my numerator. And then my g of x, if I were to plug this in, is going to be 4 squared, which is 16, minus 2 times 4, which is 8, minus 3. So 16 minus 8 minus 3 is going to give me 5. I encourage you, if you're not able to do this at this particular speed, to go back and watch the other videos to kind of help you out. This 28 over 5 is going to be, this is my numerator, this is my denominator, which means that it will not be A, will not be B if I were plugging in 4, because this denominator would be greater, which is not the case. This here is just not enough, and the values really won't equal. C, also in this instance, this numerator here will not be greater, so it's not going to be C. D is most likely my answer. I'm going to circle D, but if I were to plug this in, I would get 4 times 7, so 4 plus 3, which is 7, over 4 plus 1, which is 5. So yes, 28 over 5 indeed is my answer, making D the answer to number. Question number 9. Well, immediately I can see that this x minus 6 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 16. I know that this is really referring to a circle equation, or equation of a circle. And I know that this 16 is going to be equal to the r squared. I would suggest to go back and watch the other video if you're unfamiliar with the equation, which means my r, which is my radius, is going to be 4. That's good to know. It says point P on the circle and has coordinates of 10 and -5. If PQ is the diameter of the circle, which is also good to know because PQ essentially equals the diameter, which does equal 2r of the circle, what are the coordinates of P? So this is the equation of the circle. You can figure out the center of the circle here, and these would flip, so this would be +6 for my x value, and this would be -5 for my y value. I see that my center is in line with the other point that they give me. So this is my Q. This is like just saying this is my 10, 5. And this is my center. And they want to know what is my P, because they're trying to figure out what is P and Q. Well, my center to my Q, if this here is 6 and -5, and my Q is 10 and -5, well, these are 4 apart from each other. They're on the same line, and my radius here is 4 on both sides. So the total diameter of PQ, this would work its way back 4. So 2 would be my x value. So 2 and -5 would be my answer. So 9 is A. Question 10 states, a group of 202 people went on an overnight camping trip, 60 tents with them. Some of the tents held 2 people each, and the rest held 4 people each, assuming all tents were filled to capacity and every person got to sleep in a tent. exactly how many of the tens were two-person tens. Well, I need to define the 2 and the 4. Let's say x, let's say y. Here I know that x plus y equals 60. This is my total amount of tenths. And then I also know that there are 2 people per my x person tenths, and there are 4 people per my y people tenths, or 4 people tenths, and altogether I have 202 people. And I want to solve for my two-person tense, which I'm labeling as x. Now, because I want to solve for my x, I want to find a way to eliminate my y. So I'm going to take this entire expression here, and I'm going to multiply it by 4. Because I want to actually end up getting my 2x plus my 4y equals 202. And I want to subtract this from the other expression. So if I had, let's say 4x and then plus 4y equals my 240 when I distribute this 4 times x, 4 times y, 4 times 60, then I'm going to subtract this through, which would be negative 2x, and I would cross these out, 4y minus 4y, and then 202 minus 240 equals negative 38. I could have actually reversed this order and just kept it positive. It doesn't make it any bit of difference. This is x equals a positive 19 value, which is what I wanted. I wanted to intentionally eliminate y because I didn't want to solve for that. I didn't do substitution, takes too long, and I wanted to solve for the number of two-person tenths, which I designated as x. So 10 is C.